Good morning. Welcome to the midweek Vyre Global Business News Network update, November 15th, 2023. Lots of news, lots of interesting things going on. Canadian futures are moving higher, tracking Wall Street futures. And it's from encouraging inflation report that's fueled U.S. interest rates may have peaked. Now, I would encourage you to go take a look at Peak Prosperity on YouTube. Very interesting breakdown of what that looks like, what the CPI numbers and inflation numbers will actually look like. Maybe a bit discouraging, but it's interesting nonetheless. Japan's Nikkei closed higher, topping 33,000, which is kind of a psychological barrier or kind of layer that technical traders look at for the first time in nearly 2 months, based off strong corporate earnings and also dovish bets on the Fed. So there's lots of mixed guesses on what the Fed's going to be doing. And certainly people have a wide range of soft landing, possible recession to hard landing recession. The viewpoints are way out there and scattered amongst, depending on who you're looking at. Gold prices rose to more than 1 week high. Meanwhile, the US dollar edged up after its biggest drop in a year the day before. So also oil prices dropped a little bit, but there is strong demand, consumer demand from China. So a mixed bag. But big news on the economic front is Moody's downgraded the U.S. Now, that is a big hit, a big blow. Of course, Yellen's coming out, the Fed's come out and said that they think this is a mistake. But Moody's, sees that there's issues out there. The U.S. is printing money like crazy and spending money like a drunken sailor. Now, Jamie Dimon has come on and he's acknowledged that, yes, it's important for them to acknowledge that these risks are out there. He thinks that it's a bit aggressive to downgrade the U.S., but that is going to put a bit of a coolant or maybe some realization that not everyone thinks things are bright and rosy and great. So it's a warning sign. It's a shot across the bow. That being said, talk about aggressive. UBS foresees significant rate cuts for 2024. And this helped yesterday have a big run as they see that over the course of the year, that they will drop 275 basis points. Now, if that was to occur, that's not quite a floodgate opening, but that's a lot of money that's sitting on the sidelines, getting 4.5%, that will be ready to race back into the markets, presumably. But that, of course, is something I would be excited about, of course, and something if anyone's in the market would be excited about. And if you're not in the market, maybe you should be looking at it. And that's what we're here for. And also what you should be doing is looking at to find a financial planner, advisor, to help you get through this stage here. Because right now it's challenging, but there's a ton of opportunity. So we're seeing, though, that consumer confidence, though. So out there, that's the fourth quarter that consumer confidence has been dropping and dropping. And of course, for the everyday person, yeah, it's brutal out there. Try telling them that there isn't inflation. It's absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. Even for me, Canada's a bit different than other states in the U.S. You're buying 2 breasts of chicken for $15. That's absolutely ludicrous. I think you can get it for about 2 or 3 euros in Germany. So that's what we're facing as far as food, rent, and housing. I don't think it's incredible. There isn't enough supply. Yet the floodgates for immigration are open and we don't have anywhere to put people. There's a mismanagement here going on in Canada, certainly for Europe and also the US. Now, that's other conversation altogether. But during the same time, we've got COP28 going on. And with that, we see a big push by the United States, which is interesting to say the least. The US, UK to pledge triple nuclear power by 2050. Now, it's a ways off. And these projects take quite a bit of time, but we see that there's a lot more small modular reactors going up in Europe, being proposed in Canada and in the US. And although NuScale, and we've got a bit of an article out on that, has hit a major bump for these types of expansions and plans and nuclear power plants, there's a lot of moving factors and moving pieces. And of course, the cost of the commodity can be a huge point in it. And budgets can go well over, and that's what happened with NuScale. But overall, there's no doubt that a lot of uranium companies are doing fantastically well. You can look at Cameco, Canadian company. But on top of that is this acknowledgement finally that the data, the science, if you want to call it, has been in, and it's the cleanest and safest way to address any of the issues if you're concerned about the green plan that's being moved out. Nuclear definitely has to play a role. They're saying that it should go up to about 18% of all energy by 2050 should come from nuclear. It's about 5% today. That's a significant jump. There's 150 nuclear reactors proposed for China alone. So this is happening. The demand for nuclear is going to be huge, but also the demand for where you're getting your uranium from. And Canada plays a huge role for that. Jumping into some big name companies as well this week, Berkshire Hathaway said its holdings in GM, Johnson & Johnson, and Procter & Gamble are trimmed, as well as its stake in Amazon.com, as they're sitting on a stockpile of cash of $157.2 billion. So that's interesting to see. They are a cyclical, fundamental economic company. They look at just the value and they buy deep value. They don't see it in Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, or GM. And I'm sure that Cruise situation with their autonomous driving cars played a role in that. But it's interesting to see that Berkshire Hathaway has definitely trimmed that off. Exxon Mobil, if you hadn't known, is also in the DLE space, so direct lithium extraction. They've got aggressive plans to become one of the world's top producers of lithium for the EV explosion and the whole boom that's happening. They haven't decided which technology that they're going to use, but they are in talks with a number of different companies, including International Battery Metals and Energy Source Minerals. They said they haven't chosen, but you can imagine with the amount of assets they have, to have a technology to go into, depending on the region, that has success, that's pretty fantastic. The one thing that we seem to know at this point, a lot of DLE is secretive because there is proprietary technology being involved in filtration systems and absorption systems, is that it depends really on the type of formation you have as well as where you are. It's not a one-stop shop. Like a DLE's absorption technology might work in northern Alberta and may not work in Texas. So this is an ongoing, exciting world that we're looking at, because we talk a lot about Lithium Bank here in Canada that is in a similar situation, and there is a huge amount of lithium that can be extracted through these methods. It's just we're steps still away. It's getting proven out. It's starting to happen, and that's a section that people should really be paying attention to. Livent Corp as well, another lithium miner, said its proposed $10.6 billion merger with Allkem has received required pre-closing regulatory approvals. Now, of course, GM, we talked a bit because of Berkshire Hathaway. Its Cruise driverless car unit will pause. They're going to be supervising it. They're going to be doing an investigation. This is the whole robo-taxi situation that Tesla is heavy into. They've got enormous amounts of data over at Tesla compared to Cruise, GM's Cruise, and they're going to sit on the sidelines for a while. They don't have the data points that Tesla has. There's an interesting video we did, a reaction video with Kathy Wood from ARK Investments, and she explains what's so critical about the types of data that Tesla has in regards to the robotaxi model. And I mean, literally, if they can make that work, what's the need for Uber? You can see the market share that they could grab by solving that situation and that problem. So we're obviously going to be watching that. We're seeing this world, morph and change, and it's hard to stay focused on one thing when there's so many things happening, and especially whenever it looks like there's a lot of bad news. But I assure you, if you ask anyone that's made lots of money, whether it's Warren Buffett, Niederhofer, Druckenmiller, any of these people will tell you it's in these times, these challenging, chaotic, really pessimistic times, that people make massive amounts of money. And there are opportunities out there. Keep watching us. Tell us your thoughts, and reach out to us for what we think is happening out there in the markets. Enjoy your week.